After the blockbuster Qurbani, Feroz Khan returned to the silver screen as producer, director, and star of Janbaaz, a film that is generally regarded by critics as India's most stylized western. The film was released on June 10, 1986, and it starred Anil Kapoor, Dimple Kapadia, and Feroz Khan, with cameos by Sridevi and Rekha. The movie tells a tale of two brothers. The eldest, played by Feroz Khan, is a police officer that is hunting down members of a drug cartel responsible for the murder of his fiancée. The younger brother, played by Anil Kapoor, runs the family farmhouse. He's a playboy with a weakness for women and alcohol. The story kicks into gear when the orphaned daughter of a family friend, played by Dimple Kapadia, moves into the farmhouse. A romance between Anil and Dimple's characters sets off a chain of events that leads to Anil's character committing murder and going on the run. The remainder of the story is about the choices Feroz Khan's character must make when he's assigned his brother's case. To complicate matters further, Anil's character becomes a member of the very drug cartel that his brother has sworn to bring down. There was a 6-year gap between the releases of Qurbani and Janbaaz. Janbaaz was a hit and made a profit of 4 crore. However, at the time, it was considered inferior to its predecessor. Over time, however, Janbaaz developed a cult following, and it has become one of the defining films of the 1980s. So today, we're going to be looking into 10 things you didn't know about Janbaaz. Number 10. Janbaaz emerged from the ashes of the shelved film KASAK. Feroz Khan attempted to make a film in the late 1970s entitled KASAK, starring himself, Zeenat Aman, and Amjad Khan. In 1978, the makers of the documentary, Journeying to India, visited the sets of the film, where Feroz Khan and Zeenat Aman were shooting the song Lelo Lela. For unknown reasons, the film was shelved, and the song was later used in the 1980 film Qurbani. In 1982, Feroz Khan decided to relaunch KASAK, without its leading lady, Zeenat Aman. There was media speculation at the time that Zeenat left the film because of her volatile relationship with Sanjay Khan, Feroz Khan's brother. Film magazines reported that Zeenat and Sanjay Khan married in 1978. However, Sanjay's alleged physical abuse towards Zeenat led to the marriage being annulled in 1979. Number 9. The revolving male cast. Sanjeev Kumar's role was eliminated from the newly rewritten script, and Feroz Khan felt that Shatrughan Sinha was no longer the right fit for the role, so both actors were let go from the film. Feroz Khan really wanted to cast Vinod Khanna, but Vinod Khanna had decided to retire from acting and had become a sannyasi at the Osho Ashram in the United States. Kamal Hassan was cast as the male lead, but unfortunately he broke his leg before filming, and since production could not be halted, he was forced to withdraw from the film. The role was then recast with Anil Kapoor, Feroz Khan's third choice. Kader Khan was cast as the main villain, in addition to being hired to write the film's dialogues. However, for undisclosed reasons, Kader Khan was fired from the film, and the role was recast with Raza Murad. Madan Joshi was hired to take over as dialogue writer. Due to numerous production delays, Amjad Khan had to exit the film because the new dates required for filming had already been promised to other producers. Amjad Khan's role was recast with Amrish Puri. Number 8. Rekha. The song Pyar Do Pyar Lo was filmed in London with Rekha and several foreign models. Initially, Feroz Khan had wanted Janbaaz to be made simultaneously in Hindi and English. However, after calculating the cost of filming just this one song, Feroz Khan realized that the film's budget would more than double, making it a risky proposition, so he decided that the film would only be made in Hindi. Film magazines of the time report that Rekha was not too happy with this decision, as she had signed the film believing that it would also be released in English for the international market. When filming commenced in India, Rekha refused the film unless many of her scenes were toned down. An argument is said to have ensued between Feroz Khan and Rekha. Feroz Khan is said to have stated that Rekha knew exactly what the role required when she signed the film. Rekha denied this, stating that she was not provided with the complete script, something that was normal at the time, and that she didn't realize the level of her character's boldness until now. Feroz Khan and Rekha mutually decided to part ways, as Rekha had already been paid and Pyar Do Pyar Lo was already filmed. Feroz Khan decided to retain the song. Number 7. The Final Rewrite. Qurbani ushered in a sense of style and glamour that Hindi film audiences were not used to seeing. With a chart-topping soundtrack and a film that revolved around two alpha males wooing a beautiful woman, Qurbani was instantly lapped up by the audience and became the biggest hit of 1980. Feroz Khan decided that he would attempt to replicate that same formula for Janbaaz. Using the film Duel in the Sun as inspiration, Feroz Khan rewrote the script for Janbaaz and eliminated the role of the second female lead. The 1980s were referred to as the decade of excess because of the rise of casual drug use amongst the affluent. Feroz Khan decided to incorporate the consequences of addiction into his script, a topic that, although relevant for the times, had never been depicted in such a realistic manner in mainstream Indian cinema. Number 6. The Search for a New Female Star. With the exits of Zeenat Aman, Praveen Bobby and Rekha, Feroz Khan was on the hunt for a new female lead. Feroz Khan wanted the prospective actress to be popular, which would please the distributors, and he wanted her to ooze sensuality because it was a part of his brand. The film's distributors informed Feroz Khan that they really wanted Sridevi in the movie. The actress was giving multiple hit films every year, and she had a huge fan base. Feroz Khan had seen Himmatwala and a few snippets of Sridevi's other films, and he had not been impressed by what he had seen. He honestly did not believe that she could embody the raw sensuality that the role required. However, at the behest of the distributors, the film's lead role was offered to Sridevi. After hearing the script and believing that it was not the right project for her, Sridevi turned the role down. After seeing the rushes of the film Sagar, Feroz Khan knew that he had found his female lead, and he immediately signed Dimple Kapadia. Dimple Kapadia was a Praveen Bobby in Zeenat Aman of the 1980s. She was sexy, confident, and not afraid of doing bold scenes. There was a buzz in the media surrounding Dimple Kapadia, and she was dubbed a rising star. Number 5. The Sridevi Factor. After tracking the box office numbers of her last release and making note of her popularity all over India, Feroz Khan knew that the distributors were right and that he had to cast Sridevi in his film at any cost. As Sridevi had already turned down the lead role, Feroz Khan decided to create the character of Seema just for her. However, many people in the industry advised him to not even bother offering the role because it was well known that Sridevi did not make guest appearances. Feroz Khan was not a man to back down from a challenge. He traveled to South India to visit Sridevi and her mother. In an interview, Sridevi spoke of that meeting. At first, I was hesitant because it was just a guest appearance. Also, the presentation seemed a little too sensuous for my personality. But when Mr. Khan spoke to me in my mother tongue, I was immediately convinced. Yes, I was as surprised as you are, but he spoke fluent Tamil. He was a very classy gentleman, and his cinema reflected that. My mother also found him to be a very charming and respectful man. I was very proud to be in Janbaaz. It proved it's not about the length of the role, but the impact. Number 4. Har Kisiko Nahi Milta. Feroz Khan wanted Sridevi's character to wear Western outfits in the film. Sridevi, however, was certain that she could pull off the look that Feroz Khan wanted while wearing a sari. So Sridevi asked Feroz Khan to indulge her and let her try what she had in mind, and if it didn't work, she would wear the outfit that was originally selected for the scene. Sridevi felt that Dimple and Rekha were already wearing Western outfits, so she should do something different. Feroz Khan agreed and told her, "All I need is your face. Just give me oozing sex appeal with your expressions." Feroz Khan said in an interview, "When Sridevi came on the set to film the song, I was dumbstruck. It was the first time that I realized just how incredibly beautiful and sexy a woman can look in a simple chiffon sari." Feroz Khan was so impressed by Sridevi that he extended her cameo. The song and its picturization were a huge success. After seeing the song, producer Bonnie Kapoor said in an interview, "After seeing that song, I knew that I had to pursue her. I fell in love." Not to judge, but that's kind of a weird thing for a married middle-aged man with 2 children to say. Bonnie Kapoor was so mesmerized by the song that he issued a challenge to Shekhar Kapoor that no director could make Sridevi look as sensuous as Feroz Khan had done in the Janbaaz number Har Kisiko Nahi Milta. Shikhar Kapoor accepted the challenge, which led to the creation of the Mr. India song Kate Nahi Katte. Although it was common practice for Sridevi's voice to be dubbed by a dubbing artist, such as former child star Baby Naz, Feroz Khan insisted that Sridevi use her own voice to dub her lines. This was very rare and unusual for Sridevi film in 1986. Number 3. Failure and a New Ending. A few days after the film's release, Feroz Khan was not happy with the film's box office collections. After listening to feedback from the audience, he decided to re-edit the film. The audience, it seems, did not appreciate the film's grim ending. In the original theatrical release of Janbaaz, the film ended with Anil Kapoor's character dying in Dimple Kapadia's arms. Feroz Khan shortened the film's runtime by removing scenes that slowed down the film's narrative, and he decided to use a scene that had previously been edited out of the film as the movie's new ending. In the new ending, Dimple Kapadia's character decides to leave after the death of Anil's character. As Dimple begins to walk away, Amrish Puri's character stops her, telling her that she belongs with them because she's a part of their family. The film's final scene shows everyone embracing, and the film ends on a positive note, with the implication that Dimple's character will eventually marry Feroz Khan. Feroz Khan's re-edit gamble worked because the movie's collections picked up and the film was declared a box office hit. Number 2. Beyond Janbaaz. After the release and success of Janbaaz, Feroz Khan announced his next film, entitled Yilgar. The film was about life in the Indian Army, and the film's leads were Sridevi, Anil Kapoor, Jackie Shroff, and Feroz Khan. As shooting commenced for the film, Feroz Khan began to have issues with Jackie Shroff's late arrival on set. When it became obvious that Jackie Shroff was going to be fired, Anil Kapoor issued an ultimatum to Feroz Khan, stating that if Jackie Shroff was fired, Anil Kapoor would walk out of the film. Expecting Feroz Khan to cave, Anil Kapoor was shocked when Feroz Khan shelved the film rather than give in to Anil's demands. Years later, Feroz Khan did make a film entitled Yilgar, but it was a completely different script, and the cast included Sanjay Dutt, Nagma, and Manisha Koirala. Number 1. The Premiere. It was reported that Feroz Khan and his brother Sanjay were not on talking terms. Sanjay was said to be furious at Feroz Khan for not casting him in Janbaaz because he was going through a low phase professionally. Feroz Khan had at one point considered casting his brother, but every A-list actress that he approached refused to star opposite Sanjay Khan. Sanjay decided not to attend the Janbaaz premiere, and in return, Feroz Khan did not attend the premiere of Sanjay Khan's film Kala Danda Gore Log. At the film's after-party, Feroz Khan is said to have asked a slightly drunk Raj Kapoor about his thoughts on Janbaaz. Raj Kapoor reportedly responded, "Why did you make this film in the first place? Tell me that. There was no sense in the film, nothing. Why do people make such pointless films?" A shocked Feroz Khan, remaining a gentleman, stood in silence and just let the comments pass by. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment.